good so far. Okay, so next segment, our favourite.
Our favourite.
AI going wrong.
Bad AI.
Bad AI.
Well, just this morning, I did ping out on LinkedIn a nice little. There's a film called Unusable Hands, or there's a film poster called Unusable Hands. Which, if you don't go see Barbie, don't go and see this. It's a bit of fun. But yeah, there's a lot of bad AI out there. We kind of talked last time, didn't we, about hands and the difficulty that AI has with certain parts of the anatomy. Legal ones we can talk about, obviously.
Yeah. Have you tested others then?
Although as a quick segue,
yeah.
I was reading this morning about the evil twin of ChatGPT, which is kind of it's quite serious, but Worm GPT, real thing, which is if you imagine GPT with no guardrails and no training to say you can't do X and Y, you can imagine where that might go. So, and again, obviously there's various things in there, and there's some of it's kind of funny, but some of it's quite serious. But this is going to happen. Not everything's not roses in the AI garden. So you can expect with the technology that people will look at it and look to do different things with it. Some maybe not so.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Kind of,
but it's also linked to just the fact that companies need policies and safeguards in place, even using the tools that aren't nefarious, right? And Deloitte 100%. had a survey last week that looked at generative. Quite hard to interpret some of the data because there's a lot in there, but of everybody that they surveyed who'd used generative AI, nearly half thought it gave accurate answers the whole time. So there's the nefarious aspect, and there's also just the aspect of if you think this is going to give you an accurate answer the whole time, you're going to run into difficulties pretty quickly, particularly if you're making decisions in a business around it. Yeah,
very true. So bad AI. Now, I did see something, it was around a month ago, from I mentioned it was Amnesty. Now, Amnesty International, great organisation, and there was an interesting story around that. So they'd used some AI tools to create some visuals, and they got slightly pillory for it because it wasn't real people who were protesting. But their view on that was, well, that's fine, but we did that deliberately because if we show real people protesting, it might put them at risk. So I thought that was an interesting moral, or at least, not complication, but certainly for certain types of businesses. People is a contentious subject, and we've seen that already, right?
Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, well, exactly. And we've sort of seen the flip side of that in businesses we've been working with at the moment, where we have created brand imagery for them. We've spoken to other teams in the business, in particular teams like employer branding teams, or teams that are running, the front-facing area of the business to bring new people in, recruitment and so on and so forth. And in those conversations, when you get into it, we actually did realise you want to use real people, because if you're promoting your company and you're talking about what the company is like, if you misled people in the words you used or what was in there, then you sort of get into a bit of trouble. And if you're using fake or unreal people to try and bring people into your company, I think it's sort of the same thing. So I think it was an interesting discussion where, we actually said it's not the right thing to do, to use AI generated people in terms of that area of the business. However, in other areas, it's gone very, very well, and we've run projects that have dramatically reduced the time and money that they would have spent on a quotation.
Yeah, very much so.